How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. And yes, I have another R129 in front of me. This happens to be a 1998 Mercedes SL500 that my subscriber just picked up. So if you guys missed that past video, we went and looked at a few cars, and even after that we went and looked at a few more. So we looked at a V12 coupe, which is what he has now, and it just really wasn't going to be good enough for what he needed. He needs something he can daily drive and possibly sell off later in the future. So we were looking for a really good deal, something that I could help him out with, fixing minor things here and there, and then he can enjoy. We got a steal on this car, guys. I'm not going to tell you the price he paid, but we found this at one of those side of the road dealerships. I actually found it on Facebook Marketplace, got in contact with the guy, and he knew nothing about this car except that he needed to get rid of it because they bought it thinking they could flip it, and then it got this tap that you guys hear there, and I'm going to explain what we think that is and what I'm pretty sure that is, and many of you guys already know, and you're probably hitting the comments right now. And they had no idea that this thing even had a soft top convertible because it had the hard top, which is right over there on the car when they had it on the lot. And the button for the top was kind of flashing, and it was causing noises. And so they thought there was a whole bunch of issues with the car. Well, I got to take a look at this when the salesperson wasn't there, and I got to go through the car. There are new rims on here too since buying it, and I found a whole bunch of receipts. Now, this is a one-owner car from Florida, and we kind of confirmed that with the receipts in the car. So a brand new top was put on this in 2018, so I already knew there's no way somebody's going to spend $1,600 on a top unless the top works. And then we found other receipts where they tons of maintenance, all the correct things were done, and I'm guessing this person loved this car and took very well care of it, and it's a beautiful color. It's black on black. But then it got older, and they probably said, you know, it's time to move on. Now, there are no dash lights on, which is absolutely amazing, and the top works. So we really just needed to recalibrate everything. We took the hard top off and ran through the system a couple of times, and finally everything started functioning. The windows went down, the windows went up, and I'll clip in right now the video of the day that we brought the car back and we got the top to work. And so as you guys saw there, it was very exciting. So I was very happy for him because we even got the price down based on a top not working. So he scored on that one big time. Now, the tap that you guys are hearing is most likely the cam oil tubes, which I've done before on my W140. It's a very common issue, and they usually blow out, they break, but we're gonna have to take the valve cover off to take a look at that. So what I'm gonna do on this video, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick walk around of the car. It's in great shape. It needs some things here and there. You can see some chipping along there. These are all common things on a car that was used. There's 96,000 miles on it currently. I think it was 95 when he got it, and he's already put some on there. And he went ahead and was able to get these rims from somebody with, I think, an S560. And they just bought it, and they threw on some different rims, and they gave him a really good deal on this. So he went ahead and threw those on there. I think they look great. You know, some of you guys are purists and you'd want to see like a monoblock or something like that possibly on there, but I think these look great. I think they look really neat for this car, give it a very sporty look, and he likes it. That's all that really matters. So what we're going to do on this video is we're going to go ahead and talk about what you should do when you buy a car, especially from one of those side lot type places, and that is immediately get the oil change. These cars take kind of specific oil, and I went with what I was able to find online, what the manufacturer suggests, and that's going to be a 5W40 based on where we're at. Now, I've used 15W40 in my W140 with a very similar engine. This is the newer version of the engine, but they specifically said 5W40. Let me know in the comments if you know differently. And it's even a European formula now that Mobil makes. So they actually specify for Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, etc. So we're going to go ahead and use this. It takes 8.5 quarts. And right now it's been difficult finding filters, but in stock AutoZone had an STP. So we want to change that out. He'll probably update that. I told him we can go online and order like a case of filters, so we always have them in stock. Since he does have other cars that would take the same filter. So he also has a 97 V12. So we have that car as well that he's going to be bringing up here, and we're going to take a look at. So that'll be on upcoming videos. So let's get started. I'm going to put this car up here. We're going to go ahead and change the oil. I think we're going to pull the valve cover off, see if any of those cam oil tubes on the right side where our ticking is coming from have any issues. I've already done a couple things that he was concerned about. His mirror was all messed up, and somebody put a aftermarket mirror in there, and they broke it putting it in. So we're going to try to fix the one that's there, but we also have my parts car. I can pull my mirror off and put that on there. So we've got kind of options. So we're going to play around with getting this thing fixed up, cleaned up. We're going to recharge the AC because it's blowing cold, but not as cold as it should be. And when we move forward, I just wanted to let you guys know that he had picked up a car. I'm excited for him because you guys know I have R129s, and I'm looking at getting my one, my 91 white one back on the road this month. So I'm excited about that. You'll see a lot of videos on that. Without further ado, let's get this thing up and oil changed. Before we do the oil change, check out how clean this car is. First off, our protective tray here is in place. None of my cars have these right now. They get damaged, they get lost when people do oil changes, that type of thing. I think this one has to come off to do the oil change. Like I said, there's none on mine. But when we get under here, just look at how clean this is. Everything seems to be pretty dry along the transmission. I don't see any oil dripping down. This is the type of car you want to look for used. Very, very well taken care of. No heavy rust or anything like that. In fact, there's probably no rust on this car. You can see the coatings all in place for the underside here. Brake lines look absolutely perfect. And this is the type of thing you want to buy. You know, lower mileage, but even with higher mileage, a well-maintained car can look like this. But I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to get started on this. And I've already got some of the stuff up here taken off so we can try to pull this valve cover off. My older ones, it's a little more difficult because you have spark plugs. Obviously, there's no spark plugs on this one because it's a 98, and we've got our coil packs up under here. So it's going to make it a lot easier to get this valve cover off. It seems like there's a lot less things to maneuver around, so I'm excited about that. I've already got that all set up. I want to make sure the engine's cool because it's still hot. So we'll do the oil change now and then jump on that. So I got the pan off, and you can see it looks really nice up under here. There is a slight bit of seepage coming from our bolt here, but new crush washer will probably fix that. And then a little bit of seepage up underneath the filter housing here. Nothing to be concerned with, but I will mention that to him in case he wants to get it fixed. And I just love how accessible everything is on a 98. I'm so used to the 91 where you cannot get to the back of this alternator, and we had to change out the regulator back here, and that was a nightmare. I had to pull the whole entire alternator out. We had to modify some things, and this thing just is so clean underneath here. I'm very excited for him. I think he got himself a winner, and this is a car I believe he's planning on keeping for quite some time. So I'm going to go ahead and get him set up with the start of maintenance, and I know he'll take care of this for a long time, and it's going to be a great car. I'm very excited for him. Okay, while the oil is completely draining out, I decided I would take out some of the valve cover bolts, and then I opened up the access to our coil packs here. Now, on my W140, it's an early version of the M119, so it's a 95, and then my R129s are even earlier rendition of that because they're 91. So there's a lot of different components to it, but basically the same type of engine. I'm not sure, is this the one M113? Let me know in the comments because it's a 98. And I thought that they had swapped it over, but I'm not 100% sure what year that changed over completely. Regardless, it's still the same type of job to get to these cam oil tubes on any of those engines. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. Hopefully I need to, and that should allow us just to pop our valve cover off here since I've got all the other bolts off. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, it's a 5mm for all of these around the valve cover here. This works out really, really well for taking this stuff off. I just needed an extension to get down to these ones, but what a difference. When I first did the W140, I just had your hand type Allen key, and it was so difficult to do. I burned my hands a few times, so I had to wait for the engine to completely cool down. This just makes life a lot easier. Also, grab yourself a magnet so you don't lose any of these bolts here. Makes it a lot easier too. So let me go ahead and get all these out, and we'll pop this valve cover off. Well, ironically, the exact same one I think that was on my W40 blew out the back here, so there's no capping on the end here. So we could just change this one out and get rid of the noise. Best thing to do is just change them all. We just ordered some in. Hopefully they'll get here today. We can get these changed out. And you should also obviously change out your valve cover gasket. We've got one of those on the way. So now I kind of know exactly where that noise is coming from. It's a blowout back here. And usually you would think you could find that piece in here, but it must have gotten sucked in somewhere, unfortunately. I always felt like that was kind of a danger with using the plastic ones, is if they blow out or break, those pieces are going to go up in that engine. But I haven't heard anyone have any major issues with that, but I do know they blow out, they come loose, and they'll cause little ticking noises. With a loud ticking noise like we heard, that's usually a broken one or a blowout, and that's exactly what this is. So we've got one blowing out right there. Completely no backing. Every other one feels good on that, but a couple of them feel pretty loose. So I'm gonna say we should change them all out on this side, and hopefully that resolves it, and then we can do the other one if that becomes an issue, or if he just wants to do them all, we can do that. All right, so I'll go ahead and pull these out so you guys can take a look at what I mean by the back of it being blown out. Well, it looks like the V12 showed up. You guys have seen this before on my channel. This is that subscriber's other vehicle. He's having some electrical issues. The car runs and drives. It's a beautiful car, and it's his daily. And it just had some electrical issues. We think water got in there. So we're gonna kind of go through that as well. But now he'll have that R129 to drive. Guys, sometimes things work out really well. So we had an issue trying to get the cam oil tubes because we really wanted the metal ones. They're on back order. I've ordered them, but they're gonna take maybe a week, possibly 2 to come in. So I said, let's go ahead and check our parts car, see if there's any good ones on there. At least we can get the noise to go away. And I pop off our valve cover, and it's got fully upgraded ones that seem like they're brand new. They're nice and tight in there, which means these gaskets are real good. They're not even the ones that we were going to get, which is the URO Euro ones. These look like they're very, very nice ones. Let me know in the comments if you've seen these ones before. Regardless, we're going to swap those over. This is a great thing. Sometimes you just get fortunate, and even this chain guide looks new. I bet you they redid a lot of things on this engine, so I'm pretty excited about that. Let's go ahead and swap those over. All right, guys, I went ahead and got them out, and it looks like it has a Mercedes part number right there. Now, are these the ones that Mercedes made as an upgrade? Let me know in the comments, or are they just some sort of knockoff? Because unfortunately, trying to pop them out, a couple of them snapped. So I got 3 good ones out, and I left a couple in. They were just really, really in there, and I didn't want to mess them up and snap them out. So I'm going to try to play around with those later. But we need to get the one that is broken, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And what I'm gonna do is replace the 3 back here. I've already discussed it with the owner. We're gonna order in the valve cover gasket, the chain guides here, and we're gonna do everything. But for right now, I wanna get that ticking noise to go away. Since we're doing an oil change, might as well go in here and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I pull these out. And I've done this before on my W140 and have a video. I'll just do the one right here since we're gonna do the back 3 over here. What I do is break loose the bolts that are holding down our camshaft here and hold the oil tubes in. I'm gonna break loose and loosen up completely these ones right here, and then the backside ones, I'm just gonna loosen those up so I can spin these and pull our oil tubes out because they lock the oil tubes in. I'll try to get a little bit closer here and show you guys what I mean. And you can see how loose that one is. So look here, how that one has no end cap. And if you look at this one here, it has a little end cap that closes it off. So this one is empty. That is where our noise is coming from. And also these gaskets go bad and it gets loose. And so sometimes it'll lift up and make a noise, like a rattling noise. But what we were getting was that blown out noise. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap in the two new ones here. It snapped in nicely. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten these down. Now, we had an issue finding the torque spec on these. I'm gonna go see if I can find it online. But like I said, we're gonna take this back apart and I'm just gonna tighten them down about as snug as I felt that they were, which I wanna say is about probably 15, maybe 20 pounds of torque. You don't wanna go crazy tightening them down and getting them stripped out because you're gonna have a major issue then. So I'm gonna kind of keep them right around 15 foot-pounds of torque. Or if you guys don't see me fill it in, let me know in the comments if you guys know the torque specs so I can get these all done correctly when we pull everything back out. But that's about it, guys. That's how you do each one of these. Now, obviously, right here, you've got to take off the chain guide here by taking off these Allen key bolts here, and then underneath here are going to be those other bolts to get to that one. So this one takes a little bit more time to get to, and so I'm going to start back here and work my way this way, but we're going to get the back one there changed out with the last one that I was able to pull off of the parts car, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, guys, so a couple things to note if you're gonna be trying to do this on your own. Whenever you're putting the valve cover back on, obviously change out that valve cover gasket, but you wanna make sure you tighten them in a crisscross pattern, starting corner, corner, corner like that, like you would if you were tightening down a head gasket or anything like that. And then one of the little Allen key bolts that goes in is longer than the rest, and that is that one right there, just to note. And I believe that was the same on my W140. I know there was definitely one longer. The last thing is I broke this breather valve here because it was just insanely brittle. There is a part number on there, so we're probably gonna order that in. But I found this little hose here that looks like it's pretty much the same shape, so we're just gonna get that on there for now with a couple clamps and go with it there, so at least we'll have no vacuum leaks on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down. I'm gonna zoom through that. We'll get the oil put back in and get it started. I'm gonna finish off fixing that mirror as well. So brittle, it just kind of broke into pieces. All right, let's see if we can get this one up here. All right, guys, so the tap is gone. This is all done in the matter of a half a day, so I'm so excited. The last thing I really got to do right now is get some Freon added if it needs it. So I've got that hooked up. As you guys can hear, the car is running extremely smooth, no tap. That's exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this up. I got the AC on full. And we'll just check to see if there's enough Freon in here, and that's my guess. It's probably a little low. All right, you guys heard the compressor kind of kicked on there full. And we're in the green, starting to get into the blue, which the blue is filled, so definitely was a little low on Freon.